So we are going to do this today. Okay. Now, right? First one, sine x square plus 5. First one is y equal to sine x square plus 5. See, in exam question will come like this. Okay. You have to assume that this is a function. Y equal to sine x square plus 5. Okay. How will we do? So this is outer function. Okay. And this is inner. This is outer, this is inner. Means this is angle theta. Okay. So if you want to find out dy by dx for this will become d by dx of everything. So this will become, what is the differentiation of sine theta? It is cos theta. Correct? So you will be writing cos x square plus 5 into d by dx of, now inner. Sine we have done, sine will change to cos. Okay. Now I am writing here x square plus 5. So in the next line, you can copy this simply. Okay. And d by dx of x square. This will be 2x. And this will be 0. Okay. 2x plus 0 is 2x. So your answer will be this. Cos x square plus 5. How will you write? Please write like this. 2x, right, into cos x square plus 5. This is your answer.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
Second one is cos of sine x. So the question is y equal to cos and sine x. So this is again angle. This is angle. So if you want to write dy by dx for this, how will we write this? We'll be writing dy by dx. This cos will change. Right? D by dx of cos is how much?
Minus.
Cos x is minus sin x. Right? Now in place of x, we have sin x. So this will be sine of sin x into d by dx of sin x. Clear?
Yes.
All right. So now this becomes minus, right?
Yes.
Minus sine of sin x into d by dx of sin x will be cos x. So your answer will be, please write in steps as you are getting, right? Do not write this sin x here at the start. Please write in the place. So d by dx of sin x is cos x. So now you can simplify. Minus cos x sin of sin x. Final answer right like this. This is also fine, but this is more better.
Yes.
Third, sin of ax plus b. Sin of ax plus b. How will we do it? Now in place of angle, we have ax plus b, right? And sine. So d by dx of sin x is how much? Cos x. Cos x. But in place of x, ax plus b is there, right? So we'll be writing always dy by dx. Okay? Equal to sine will go to change cos ax plus b into d by dx of ax plus b. Okay? Now, until here, no need to change. We have to just do the derivation, differentiation of this. Right? How will we do this? D by dx of ax. A is constant. It will come out. Okay? D by dx of x will be 1. So, here, what I'm saying is, you got right? D by dx of ax, right? Plus d by dx of b. And you can write cos ax plus b. Now a is constant, it will come out. So your differentiation will be like this. Cos ax plus b into a, right? Plus this will become 0. So my final answer is a cos ax plus b. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now fourth is secant. Now fourth is this much. How will we write? Right? Always write. They have given question now. So you should start with y. Y equal to secant of 10 of root x. Now what is the formula for secant?
Secant x tan x.
Yeah. So d by dx of secant x is secant x 10x. Now this entire thing is angle. Okay? This entire thing is angle. So in place of x, what is coming? Tan x, tan root x. Okay? So we will do differentiation for this. Dy by dx is equal to secant. Right? So it will coming secant x. So you can write secants of tan of root x into tan of tan, right? Full. X is tan root x. So for tan x also, we'll write tan into tan of root x. Clear? Into d by dx of this. Tan root x. Clear? Now what we will do? So we only need to calculate this. Right? This one is already done. These two parts. So let us calculate this. D by dx of tan x. How much is tan x? Now this is tan and this is x. This is angle. Right? Can we write
Secant square
secant square x?
root.
And you will be copying this. Right? But we also have to apply chain rule for root x now. Right? D by dx of root x. I'm giving slowly so that you will understand it. Okay? So it is secant of tan root x. Then copy this. Tan of tan root x. Now this is also done. Okay, I need to find this. What is the differentiation of root x?
1 by 2 root x.
Yes. So it is coming secant of tan root x, right, into tan of tan root x into secant square root x. Okay. Then it is 1 by 2 root x. Clear? So this is your answer. You can write this in front also. 1 by root 2x, 1 by 2 root x will come here. This is your answer. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now this one. This is our fifth question. Now, what will be right? How will you start? Now this is in the form of u by v. This is in the form of, this is u and this is v. But this is not multiplication. This is d, u upon v. Okay? So what we know? How will you find d by dx of u by v? See, we do denominator square, v square. Right? Then you can write v outside. Then du by dx. Then minus, this time you will take u outside, into dv by dx. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is u and what is v? U is sine ax plus b. So I'll be finding now. Suppose this is y equal to this much. Okay. So d by dx. So dy by dx will be how much? We will be doing cos cx plus d whole square, correct? As per this formula. Then v into du by dx means I will be taking cos cx plus d outside and will be differentiating u. So d by dx of sine ax plus b. Clear? Minus, now you will be taking u outside. U is nothing but this form sine ax plus b. So I am taking sine ax plus b and then d by dx of v. So you can differentiate denominator. Cos cx plus d. Okay, got it? Process is easy, but question is lengthy now. Okay, what we will write? Cos cx plus d. Cos cx plus d here. Then d by dx of sine x. This sine you do like this. So this will become cos. Sine will become cos. Cos ax plus b. Right? Then again d by dx of ax plus b. Right? Minus. Right? This term will come as it is. This is outside. So sine ax plus b and into this cos is there. Right? So cos will, this is cos theta, suppose. Cos theta will be minus sine theta. Right? So this will be minus sine cx plus d into d by dx of cx plus d. Okay. And in denominator, this term will come. Cos cx plus d whole square. Okay. How much it will become, Dheeraj? So I'm just copying cos cx plus d into cos ax plus b. Here d by dx of ax plus b. So ax will be becoming x. This will become 0. Minus, then I'm copying this.
So only A.
It will be A, sorry. Yes. It will be A. Minus sine AX plus B. Now this minus and this minus will become plus. And then sine CX plus D. Then d by dx of Cx plus D. Cx, x will become 1, right? So this will be into C, right? Divided by cos, this much I'm copying. Cos Cx plus D, this whole square. So you can write cos square this. Okay? This is our answer. Nothing is common, right? Understood? Better?
Yes.
Now cos x3 sine square x to the power 5. Can you please guide me? Just help me solving this. So I'll be writing y is equal to, what rule we will apply now? Cos x cube.
Product. Okay.
Yeah. Now sine square x to the power 5. So let us do something. Okay. So this is angle. This is not cos 3x, right? It is cos x3, x cube. So this is angle. Okay. And this is angle. So I'll be writing it in a simplest form. Cos x3 into sine x5. Right? This will be square. Hmm? Now we need to apply UV rule. This will be U and this will be V. What is d by dx of UV? You take one outside, U into dV by dx plus, if you are taking V outside, it will be du by dx. This I am applying. In exam, please write. Right? Up. Else step marks, sometimes they won't give. Okay. So what will happen? Dy by dx will be, what is the differentiation of cos? Minus sine, right? So this will become sine minus sine x cube. Sorry, wait a minute. First we'll write in the format. So I'm taking cos x3 in place of u. Then d by dx of sine x5 square, right, plus v. V is sine square x5 sine x5. I'm just try to simplify things, then it will be easier. Okay. Into d by dx of u. U is this cos x cube. Now we will solve one by one. Okay.
Yes.
So this is cos x cube d by dx of sine x each. So now we have to think, right? This is in the form of x to the power n. So this will become x to the power 1 differentiation in how much? N into x to the power n minus 1. Right? So we'll be writing 2 into sine x to the power 5 and then 2 minus 1. Correct? So this is for this one. Right? I also need to differentiate this. Right? So this will be d by dx of x to the power 5. Okay?
Yes.
Plus, now I want this. Sine power 5 square into d by dx of cos. Cos is minus sine, right? x3, right? And then into, I need to differentiate x cube also. So applying chain rule. In the next step, we'll get the answer. How much it is giving? Cos x cube cos x cube into 2 sine x5, right? Into 5x4. x5 differentially 5x4 plus, just write like sine x5. I'm just copying it. Into minus sine x cube into 3x square. So now our answer will be, this is 2 and this is 5. So 10 x4. I'm bringing this first. Okay. Then this is cos x cube. Okay. Then sine x5. Now this plus and minus will become minus. Okay. So minus, then 3x square. Okay. Now I'm breaking it. This will be sine square x to the power 5. Okay. Into sine x to the power 3. Clear?
Yes.
Let me get power. You understood, no? On this one?
Yes, sir.
Now seventh. So let us do like this. Y equal to 2. One moment. So I'll be writing like this. Y equal to, how will we write?
Uh,
2 cot is x square, and it is better to have like 1 by 2. So this is in the form of x to the power n. The entire x and n is this. Clear? So dy by dx will become 2 is already there. The differentiation of this will be nx n minus 1. So you can write 2, then this is entire is x. It is cot right? And n will come out 1 by 2. Here we can write 1 by 2 minus 1. Right? Then from chain rule, what will happen? Right? So outside we did. Now there is no. We did this one. Right?
yes.
We have done this half, but inside is pending. Right? Means we can write d by dx of inside cot x square. Okay. So is 2 to cancel. You can write it. This will come as cot x square, and then the LCM will be minus 1 by 2 into, now this is cot. What is the differentiation of cot x?
Minus cosecant square x.
So minus cosecant square x, x to the power 2. And now I have to differentiate this again. D by dx of x square. Okay. This will be nothing but 1 by root cot x square, right? Into minus cosecant square x square into 2x. So the answer will be minus 2x, then this one cosecant square x square divided by root over cot x square. Clear?
Yes.
If anywhere, if you're not understanding, please stop me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cos root x. Can you solve it? Just tell me the steps here. How can we do? Question number 8.
So,
Just tell.
uh, first, derivate cos root x minus sine root x,
No. Don't go to answer first. Y equal to
cos root x.
root x. Then we have to write dy by dx. So first I will do this. Okay. Cos will be minus sin x. Okay. Root x into d by dx of root x.
So,
Okay. This is nothing but minus sine root x. D by dx of root x is 1 by
1 by 2 root x.
root x. Right? So this is our answer. Minus sine root x by 2 root x. Okay. So now it is telling prove that number 9 is not differentiable at x equal to 1. I have not taught you differentiation, like differentiable condition, but now I'll teach. Okay. So we need to prove. What we have to prove is mod x minus 1, where x belong to R, is not differentiable at x equal to 1. So what is the condition for differentiability? Condition for differentiability. You know, a function f, right? A function fx is said to be differentiable at any point x or at any point a, right? If its left hand derivative is equal to right hand derivative. This is very important thing. Correct? Now what is left hand derivative and what is right hand derivative? How do we derive condition? Do you know? Derive?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you don't know, right? Okay. So left hand derivative is, right? Okay, I'll just give you the crux. What is this and all? Okay. So
Yes.
go to smart drawing. Okay. We'll draw one straight line. Okay. I'm drawing straight lines. Now I'm drawing one function. I'm drawing a function. Okay. So this is our OX axis. This is Y axis, right? Now this function is y equal to fx. It means let us take 2 points on this function. Okay. Take 1 point here and 1 point here. Okay. So this point is point PQ. So basically the distance from here to here will be x, right? And here to here will be, this is x, right? And from here to here it is h. So this is x plus h. Clear? Take 2 points. One point is at a distance x and the another point is at a distance x plus h. Right? So this is h. Right? So I have written the function in this form, y equal to fx. Right? So when x is there, right? What is the value of this? So one coordinate is x and y will be fx, correct? So the coordinate of this will be, see here, up to here it is fx, right? So this distance is x, fx, right? So this distance, how much will be this distance? Distance of this point from here, this will be f of x plus h, no?
Yes.
So the coordinates of this is x plus h and f of x plus h. Okay? Very important. If you don't understand this, it will not be possible. What I am saying is, let me remove everything. Very simple. I didn't do anything. I just took a graph and 2 points on the graph. Okay? So I've taken only 2 points on the graph. One each at a distance x and the another one is at a distance of x plus h. Right? So the coordinate of this point will be x and y, right? But y equal to fx. So we'll be writing coordinate y and f of x. Means this distance of this point is f of x. So the distance of this point, this is f of x. Now I want this point also, this one. So this is x, this is x plus, this is fx, and this one is f of x plus h. F of x plus h. Right? Now, how to find differentiation? I need to find dy by dx here. Dy by dx is nothing but slope. Right? Is nothing but tan theta. Okay. So what are we doing? I'm going to draw a line here between this to this point. Right? Clear or not? I'm going to draw a line which will connect this and this point. Okay. Then I'll draw another line and this. Okay. And this is angle theta. This is your angle theta. Okay. So if you want to have a slope here, right? So tan theta we have to find. Right? How much will be tan theta, Dheeraj?
Um,
In this triangle, tan theta will be, this is PQ, so this point will be R. Right? So find the slope, no? Slope of this. Slope is tan theta. Tell tan, here tan theta will be how much?
QR by QR.
QR by PR
PR.
means perpendicular by base, right? So now QR is how much? This distance will be this distance minus this distance, correct? This is
Yes.
what I'm interested in. Right? Now this is fx, and here to here is f of, sorry, here to here is f of x plus h. See, for x I am writing fx. So for x plus h I will write f of x plus h. Okay. So this length will be, what I'm saying is, how much will be this? F of x plus h minus f of x, correct? You understood or not?
Yes.
So PQ, see, PQ is not PQ. From here to here, the here to here is f of x plus h. Here to here is fx. So this will be f of x plus h minus fx. Okay. So now it is coming like this. F of x plus h minus f of x. Right? But I also need to find r, PR. How much is PR? This is x plus h. So how much will be this distance? From here to here is x plus h. From here to here is x. So this will be x plus h minus x. Right? So this is nothing but h. So now we found slope. Right? So slope is nothing but differentiation. Right? dy by dx gives slope. So how will you write it? So I will copy this. Now you got right how the questions is coming. This
Yes.
equation, no need to remember, right? By h, right? And now h is here. Suppose you want to bring h very near to x, right? So what we have to write? Right? Means limit h tending to x, right? or h tending to 0, something like that. So this is right hand limit. Is it clear?
Yes.
So, so whenever you are writing something, okay? So we wrote this, right? So left hand derivative. This is derivative, okay? Left hand derivative is limit h tending to 0 minus, right? F of x plus h minus f of x divided by minus h. And right hand derivative will be limit. I'm just putting limit here. H tending to 0 plus f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. I think this part is clear. This portion is clear. You might not be understanding this, right? How minus came.
Yes.
So I'll explain this in next class because it will take a lot of time. But just for question, right? Left hand derivative and right hand derivative, if both are equal, the function will be differentiable. At least
Yes.
you come to know that how I derive this formula, right? This is nothing but perpendicular by base. Perpendicular, I got it from here. Right? Base, I got it from here. Clear? Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is little complex topic. Maybe I'll take the class day after tomorrow, Monday. Okay. These things I'll explain you. I don't want to confuse you. Okay. So for time being, what we have to do is I'm just skipping these two. Prove that this function is not differentiable and all. Once I teach you completely left hand limit and right hand limit, then we can do it. Okay. So now I'm going for implicit function. It is telling find dy by dx for this. Dheeraj, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm saying is two questions. I will teach the uh, limit part Monday with fresh mind, or Sunday you have some time. Okay. I need one class for that. Can you try finding how will you find here? What we have to find? Find dy by dx if x minus y equal to pi. So first, our logic, what it says, right? Find y from here. So if you take y this side, right? So this will be x minus pi. Pi will come this side is equal to y. Right? You can also write it like this: y equal to x minus pi. Hmm?
Yes.
So what it is telling now? Find dy by dx. Dy by dx equal to d by dx. See, pi is constant, it will become 0. And this x will become, how much is d by dx of x?
1.
1. So the answer is 1. This one. These are board questions, Tambi. Okay. So we should know. Now what we will do? Y plus sine y equal to cos x. So now you don't find y from here. Okay. This is implicit. Implicit means we have to derive, we have to differentiate with respect to x and y also. So it is y plus sine y is equal to cos x. What is the differentiation of y with respect to s? Right? You have to
dy
write,
by
yeah, differentiating with respect to x. Please write this line. This line is important.
yes, sir.
Okay. So this will be dy upon dx plus sine y will turn into cos y. Okay. And see, this is angle, right? Y. So this will be again d of dx of y is equal to cos, will be minus sin x. So what will come here? Common dy by dx plus cos y. This we can write dy by dx minus sin x. Now take common. Dy by dx is common. So dy by dx into 1 plus cos y is equal to minus sin x. From here we can find dy by dx. Minus sin x by 1 plus cos y. This is my answer. Clear?
Yes.
So let's see one more question. Different one. Suppose I have taken x square plus y square equal to a square. This is the formula for circle, right? How will we do?
Differentiate with respect to
Yeah, differentiate with respect to x. So you will get, this will be 2x, then it is 2y, then dy by dx, correct?
yes, sir.
And this will be, this is a constant, so this will become 0. Now my aim is to bring dy by dx one side. So maybe you can put it like this. 2y into dy by dx, bring 2x right hand side. It will go to this side. This will become minus 2x. So this 2 and 2 got cancelled. So how much is my dy by dx? Minus x by y. Clear? This is our answer. See, in NCERT something is given, but we should know the process, not the derivative of inverse trigonometry. Let us solve few questions from this. Find dy by dx of this. Let us do together. You'll get. Are you becoming little confident now?
Yes.
Okay. So they have given like this: 2x plus 3y is equal to sin x. Now we have to write differentiating with respect to x. So this will become 2 plus tell
2,
3
3y,
y will become dy by dx, no?
3 divided by 2
Hmm,
cos
is equal
x.
to cos. So this will become 3 dy by dx. 2 will go to right hand side. Cos x minus 2 and dy by dx. 3 will go in the denominator. Cos x minus 2 by 3. This is your answer. Hmm? Same thing here. Are you watching videos? I'm uploading actually.
Those videos, yes, sir.
Yeah. So please watch because you have to take notes. Maths is for practice, Tambi. Son,
Yes, sir.
maths is for practice. Okay? How much ever you practice, that much it will be fruitful. Now it is 2x plus 3y equal to sin y. See, we have x term also and y term also. Right? X, y is there, y is there. So definitely we have to differentiate with respect to x only because in the question they are asking find dy by dx. So write differentiating with respect to x. So this 2 is constant, no problem. X will become 1. So this is 1. Then 3 dy by dx. Right? Now here is a tricky part. Right? Sin y will become cos y. And then differentiation of y with respect to x. This will be dy.
Divided by dx.
Now I want to bring like dy by dx this side. So bring this side. Okay. This will be 2 is equal to cos y into dy by dx minus 3 into dy by dx. You can further write it like dy by dx is common. Right? This is cos y minus 3 is equal to 2. So here dy by dx will be how much? 2 by cos y minus 3. So this is your answer. Hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
If you know the methods, any differentiation integration questions like maths is very easy. Now, what is given? Ax plus by square. It is given. So we can directly write now. differentiating with respect to x. What we will get? This will become a, right? Plus b into y to power 2, right? This will become 2y, and you have to,
dy by dx.
yes, this side is y. So cos y will become minus sin y, and then y you will get dy by dx. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now I want to bring dy by dx one side. What I'll be writing? A is equal to minus sin y dy by dx minus 2by into dy by dx. Correct it? I didn't make any mistake, no? Okay. So take dy by dx from common here. Dy by dx in both. Right? So this will become minus sin y minus 2by equal to a. So now dy by dx will become how much? A by minus, so I'm just taking minus, you can write as it is. Okay? I'm just taking minus, oh, minus 1 is common, so that it will become 2by. This is our answer. Fourth, if you're not understanding in any place, please stop me, okay?
Yes, sir.
How will we do this? Again, differentiating with respect to x. With respect to x. Now, this is UV rule, correct? So this will become, I'm doing this first. X into dy by dx plus y into 1. Correct it? Plus y square is there. This will become 2y and dy by dx. Tan x is, what is the differentiation of tan x?
Um, secant square x
Plus this y will become
dy
dy
by
by dx. Now our aim is to bring this dy by dx, this dy by dx, and this dy by dx one side. So already the two are in left side. I will bring this side, okay? So it will be x into dy by dx. I'm just grouping them. Plus 2y into dy by dx. I'm bringing this minus dy by dx is equal to secant square x. And now this y I'm bringing this side, okay? Now dy by dx is common in everywhere. So I'll take dy by dx common. Okay? Now x plus 2y minus 1 is equal to secant square x minus y. So from here dy by dx, we'll simplify it. Secant square x minus y divided by x plus 2y minus 1. Clear? This is our
Yes.
answer. Okay. Now help me in solving fifth. Now, do you think differentiation easy?
Yes.
So there will be some tricky questions here and there, but we can manage. Okay. Differentiating with respect to x. So this x square differentiation will be 2x plus here uv will be applying uv method. So I'll do x into dy by dx plus y into differentiation of x is 1 plus now this one y square. This will become 2y into dy by dx is equal to 0. So now how many dy by dx are there? One dy by dx here and another here. So we'll keep dy by dx together and these two terms will go to right side. Okay? So we can also write dy by dx into x plus 2y. Now this will go this side. This will become minus 2x minus y. So this will become dy by dx is equal to minus 2x minus y divided by x plus 2y. You can also write it like this. Take common minus 2x plus y divided by 2y plus x. This answer is also correct. This is also correct. Okay. How will we solve this? Question look big, but it is solvable, right? Let us differentiate this first. So, right, differentiating with respect to x. What will we get? Can you help me?
3x square.
3x square. Now this is uv. This will be u, this will be v. Okay. So x square as it is. Y will become dy by dx. Then take y outside and x square will
2x.
be 2x. Plus same thing will apply here. This again uv square, uv, right? So x, then differentiate y square is 2y dy by dx plus now I'm doing this y3. This is 3y square into dy by dx equal to 0. Okay. Now group this and this together. Okay. So basically what will happen, right? And this and this term will go to right hand side. Okay. So you will write dy by dx x square plus 2xy plus 3y square, okay, is equal to, now this is going right side. So this will become minus 3x square, and this is also going this side, okay, minus 2xy, correct?
Yes.
So now this will become dy by dx is equal to minus 3x square minus 2xy divided by x square plus 2xy plus 3y square. So this is our answer. Seventh. 1 minute. I think I pulled it. We reached to some different page. Fine. Not exercise 5.6. Five point three, right? So this is our question. 7. How will we solve? See, sine square y is there. It means it can be written as sine y square, okay, plus cos xy is equal to k. Now you write differentiating with respect to x. So what will happen? This will go ahead. This is in the form of x to the power n. This will become 2 sine y. Then y will get differentiated with x. Done, right? Now see here. This is like this. Cos. Cos means cos xy will give minus sin xy. Then d by dx of this xy is equal to 0. Huh? Now this will become 2 sin y dy by dx minus sin xy. Now this is in your form of uv. So I'm taking x and then dy by dx plus y into 1 is equal to 0. Now we have dy by dx here and dy by dx. So we'll group them together. Okay. 2 sin y dy by dx minus x into sin xy into dy by dx. Now minus sin xy into y into minus y into sin xy is equal to 0. Now our purpose should be take dy by dx in one side and this will go to the other side. Okay. So dy by dx is common here. 2 sin y minus x to sin xy is equal to y into sin xy. We got the answer now. dy by dx y sin xy divided by 2 sin y minus x into sin xy. This is our answer. Clear? Any doubt, beta?
No, sir.
All right. So we'll make one more question and then we can wind off. Okay.
Yes.
This is for practice. We'll do here only. Suppose I have this y equal to sine, then log, then cos x. These questions come very frequently. How will we do? With chain rule. So we'll be writing dy by dx. First to sine, and this is theta. This is sine theta. So differentiation of sine theta is cos theta. Right? So in place of sine, it will be cos, then log, cos x. Okay. Into, now I have to do d by dx of log x. Please write like this, okay, in exam also. Log cos x. You can write it like this. dy by dx is equal to cos log cos x. Into, now d by dx of log x. What is the differentiation of log x?
1 by x.
Yeah, so this will be 1 by cos x. Right? And then differentiation of this d by dx of minus sin x. In next step, don't write everything in one step. Okay. Examiner will not be able to understand, and even you will get confused. 1 by cos x into minus sin x. What is the differentiation of sin x? Cos x, right? So this will become minus cos x. Now this cos x and this cos x got cancelled. So answer is minus cos of log cos x. This is my dy by dx. Okay, so let me stop the recording.